Okay. Make sure that we are recording. Awesome. So thank you all for being here. This is the Spicy Marriage Challenge. And this was created because after you've been in a relationship for a while, things can get a little dry, things can get a little predictable. Sex life can kind of go on the back burner. So we want to make sure that you have the tools you need to make sure your marriage is spicy. So welcome, welcome, welcome. This challenge is actually sponsored by the Up Company. It is a 5-star relationship coaching and therapy company. You can find more about the Up Company at upcompany.org. But we're so excited that you're here. What we would love for you to do, if you have questions, if you have suggestions, put that in the chat box. If you're seeing this on Facebook, that means you probably did not register. So you want to make sure that you do register. Not only as a registered person will you get a copy of each day of the challenge, but you can also get your questions answered live. So you can register at spicymarriagechallenge.com if you haven't done that thus far. So why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? We need a reality check. Before we get this thing started, we need some buy-in. We need a reality check. So there's some statistics about couples who've been married for a while in the US. The statistics show that 47% of them, so that's like just about half, they're not having sex on a weekly basis. Once a month, it's not happening. It's more like twice a month or once a month. So that's half of couples in the US aren't having sex at least one time every week. And y'all know marriage can be hard. So we need to reap all the benefits. The statistics further show that almost 20% of couples only have sex one time every month. One time in 30 days. And then another 20% have not had sex in the past 6 months. 6 months. We consider those marriages as sexless marriages. So even though people aren't talking about it, it's way too common not to do something about it. And as a relationship coach, I'm noticing that couples, we're not talking about sex enough. And I don't mean just during, but we're not having important conversations, because what you liked in year 1 of your marriage, it might be different in year 10. Like you might want to do some different explorations. You might have opened yourself up to new possibilities. So we want to make sure that we are starting this conversation, that we're giving you some really spicy tools to explore and to strengthen your sexual relationship, which will really help the overall health of your marriage. Now, I know some of you might be like, is it really that serious? Like, of all the intricacies that go down in a marriage, like, is it really that important? So I wanted to give some information just for you to think about to help with this buy-in, because I know for some of you, we know that at least 20%, it's been a long time. We know that another 20%, it's been at least 30 days. So we might need some buy-in. So why is sex important in marriage? So studies show that not only can it be extremely enjoyable, right? But there's also some chemicals that becomes exchanged, right? There's some bonding chemicals that go on in our bodies when we have sex with our spouse. And that's really important. We need connection. We need to feel that spark. We need to feel close in a marriage. And there's a lot of things that come at us, that distract us, that causes all these challenges. We need to feel connected and do everything we can to add to that. Not only does sex help with connection, But studies show that really sex makes you healthier. Like as we get older, maybe you like me and take a few different supplements, but good sex makes you healthy. It really strengthens your immune system. So that's another reason why we want to make sure that we are taking care of our sexual health in our relationship. Another factor, it lowers stress. Now, I don't know how many of you here are online. Your doctor has told you you need to lower your stress. Maybe your pastor has told you you need to lower your stress and mind your business and pray. Whatever. We need to do different things to keep our stress down and to stay healthy and to stay connected in sex with our partner. Consistency helps with that. Now, one of the things I hear the most from adults 35 and up is how tired they are, how exhausted they feel. They're not getting good sleep. They just don't wake up refreshed. There are studies that show regular sex with your spouse helps with getting good sleep, getting good rest. If you've been saying, I'm having a hard time settling down, I got all these things on my mind, having that sex with your partner helps with that. And last but not least, if those are just like, okay, whatever, there's studies that show that couples who have sex regularly, they have a lesser rate for divorce. So I know you're like, okay, I know sex is important, but honey, if you want to have a good immune system, you want to get that stress down, you want to get some good sleep, and you want to do something that adds to your chances of having a strong, long-lasting relationship instead of going through a messy, expensive divorce, you want to absolutely invest time and energy into your sexual relationship. Now, who am I? I said all of that, and I didn't introduce myself. I am Natasha Oates. I'm an award-winning therapist and relationship coach. I have had 10 years experience helping couples. And I'm happily married of 16 years, and I'm here to help you today. So today is an introduction to what we're going to really get into each day of this challenge. I want you to be prepared. I want you to mentally be prepared to try out some different things, to consider some different nuances in your relationship sexually. So day one today is the introduction. I'm just going to give you a rundown of what we're going to do, give you a rundown of the different things we're going to offer afterwards. Day two happens tomorrow. So this all will go down this week, every night at 9 p.m. Eastern, from today until the day after Valentine's Day. So day two on tomorrow, we're going to talk about the distractions that get in the way of good sexual relationships. There's a ton of them, and some of them you might be even surprised and wouldn't have considered. It is a distraction from having a healthy sex life. Not only are we going to talk about those distractions, we're going to talk about what in the world can you do about them? How can you get around them? So see, we're going to get into some ways to spice up your bedroom. But if the distractions are lurking and you haven't created a plan around it, it's like a waste of time. So we got to start with the foundation, okay? Not only are we going to talk about distractions, but we're going to get back into a rhythm of flirting. See, when you've been with your boo for a long time, you might kind of let that go and just be all casual with them. But we got to get back into flirting in a way that really is intriguing and attention grabbing. Because remember I talked about those distractions that get in the way? We want to be a distraction. We want to grab that attention. We want to shift the mood and the feeling in the room. So we're going to do that on day two. And on day three, we're going to talk about some other things that might get in the way that maybe you all haven't discussed out loud. Sometimes we go through body changes and it can make you hesitant to show who you are at a certain age or at a certain point in your life. I know we've had some pandemic pounds. There's some things that sometimes we get in our heads about. If you're a person that gets in your head too much, that day is specifically for you. So not only we're going to talk about the body changes we go through, what we can do to overcome that, and how getting stuck in our head, like overthinking and all of that, can really dampen the mood. We're going to talk about some spicy game options and really look at some things you can do with some everyday items to spice things up. So you don't want to miss day 3 and day 4. I'm telling you, you do not want to miss day 4. Day 4 is when we do a total body exploration activity. This is really to understand, what does my spouse want from me? And what do I want from my spouse? Let's take it to new levels. Let's explore new things. This is going to be fun and relaxed. So make sure you come here for every day. And if you know that you have some things going on, maybe you have the kids might be pulling at you, maybe you might be working some evenings, do not worry. You want to make sure you're registered on our site at spicymarriagechallenge.com. You're going to get a copy of each evening at the end of the challenge, and you can have your questions answered live. So I'm going to just check to see if there's any questions. Any questions? I see a comment, OMG. OMG. I don't see any questions. So we're going to count this as a day, but I want you all to make sure you are here 9 o'clock Eastern each night. We're going to go over some very, very good information. The one challenge that I see with couples in terms of communication, a lot of us are not talking about sex. We're not talking about what we like. We're not talking about what we don't like. We're not talking about what we want to try. We're not being candid. And this is an opportunity to have some fun. So I will see you all on next time.